I'm Mike Bradner, and this is Capital Views, and we're talking to Dean Westlake, who comes from Kotzebue, but northwest Alaska, which is an extensive area. Dean, went through the parameters of your district.
It's over 350,000 square miles. It's huge. We run from Deering all the way up north to where the ocean starts up there. It goes into interior Alaska there, where you've got Bettles and Hughes and Allakaket, and you've got Coldfoot, all these different places, and it's a huge, magnificent country.
Now you have an amazing asset. It's called Red Dog.
Yes, we do.
That's a what? It's not a red dog, it's a mine.
It's a mine, and I tell you, I've lived there pre-Red Dog, and I'm living there as Red Dog happens. We've got engineers now that were probably never interested in becoming engineers. They come from the villages. We've got a lot of people that make their living out there and do well. One of the things you don't ever hear about about any place like a Red Dog is the skill set that these folks from the villages get when they go to Red Dog. Now, they'll go over there, they'll get trained up in heavy equipment or whatever the case may be, driving trucks, becoming mechanics, but there's also a firefighting component in there. There's also an EMT component in there. So these people that go up there come home with a technical skill set that makes the quality of life in the village better. You've got people trained in potable water. They're back home. They're doing these things, and it's been extremely beneficial. I know personally in my family, there had been an accident. The first responder over there was an EMT trained in Red Dog. These things are just invaluable for rural Alaska.
Now, if there's 10 people from Norvik or Kayana
Yes.
who work there, because they're working in shifts, I mean, you really maybe have double that or so on, and 12 or 13 jobs is a lot in a village.
Yeah, and it helps. I mean, Kayana's always been a mining community, and Norvik's always been over there. And what happens is in Red Dog, out there when you're doing all these things, it's all like all families coming together in this one place. And the competition's there, it drives you further, who can do this the best, and it just amplifies the good that can come from just being together again and having that healthy competition.
I was there a couple of years ago, and it's a great big hole in the ground, but they made the point, it says, there isn't anybody working in that pit who isn't, a native Alaskan from the area, a shareholder.
They are, and I've worked up there, and it's great how everything just shuts down. If there are caribou crossing the road over there, everything shuts down, and it's all about subsistence first and having resource development second. And it makes people that live there, and we depend on those caribou. It is so heartening to have that, and having such a responsible.
Now enlighten us, Red Dog, Nana Corporation is the landowner.
Is the landowner.
And they then...
And then what had happened, the original agreement was with Cominco. Teck bought them out, and it's Teck now. And it's the biggest lead zinc mine in North America. And it is a sight to behold. The two biggest buildings, if nothing else lately has been built, the two biggest buildings in Alaska are at Port Site, where they store the ore concentrate, and there is temperature gauges or humidity gauges in there. They spray a mist in there, and people are working over there, and it's a great value-added project. It really...
So that employment goes on all year long?
Yes, it does.
Because you're storing the ore?
Yes, and doing that, the storing of the ore is year-long. It provides jobs 365 days a year, and a great value-added product when they're down there and keeping it at a certain humidity, because the buyers insist on this standard. And
then you have to lighter it offshore
to a bigger barge. So
to a big, well, the ore carriers.
Right? There's a covered ore conveyor belt, if you will, that goes over there to another covered lighter barge, and then it goes back out about 3-4 miles and put in the big ships. Big ships.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful thing to see. It really is.
So, I mean, you live in pretty amazing country, but you get familiar with Anchorage because you go back and forth. But
Yeah.
one of the problems we have is we who live in Anchorage don't get an opportunity
Yeah.
to come to your country and get a sense of it.
And that, I think, is a lot of times. There was somebody that came up and says, well, you know, if you do it this way and you just go to say a Fred Meyer, or you go to this one over here and just do it this way. I said, look, I cover over 350,000 square miles. I can tell you there is not one there. You're not going to find these things. And a lot of people don't realize, I mean, even here in this state, just that sometimes, I mean, up in Shungnak Ambler, it was 52 below. Now, getting out there, getting wood to keep your stove, your house heated up, these are real daily struggles. And having resources and having jobs goes a long way in alleviating that. So it's great communities.
And, you know, rural Alaska out of Anchorage International Airport, I mean, that's a big market.
It is. It really is. There's nothing like getting out there, and like the song says, the sound of silence. It's just amazing.
Dean, it's been a pleasure having you. We're out of time. This is Mike Bradner with Capital Views. We're talking to Dean Westlake, the new legislator from Kotzebue. And Dean, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.